What's the purpose behind the marketing plan? You excite, you educate, experience, and engage. Let's do this, right? Let's do this and let's have fun with it too. To my first time listeners, thank you for joining the show. I appreciate you being here. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Marketing with In-Depth Podcast, where I'm your host, Nathan Webster, and I'm excited to chop it up with you today. Today, for episode 252, we are doing something different, something new, and I'm glad you, as a first-time listener, you're on here. For my worldwide listeners, I'm glad you're on here too, because I want you to be able to DIY, market, promote, and advertise. Do what you need to do to build that marketing strategy to win and dominate so you can get what you need to live the life that you want. All right. So let's get started. And this is a twofer. Okay. Now, when this launches, I will have the opportunity for you to have something I've never done before, but I'm excited to launch it. And I'm going to tell you, give me just a little bit. I just want to back up to say about almost 200 episodes, I first talked about this. And I first talked about this because I was really excited about mentioning it as one of the things that you got to do to level up. I also mentioned it because around that time, it was around the pandemic, and this is just something that I was thinking you might potentially want to have. Now, I'm telling you this because everybody is doing it for themselves. DIY your social media, DIY your, I don't know, whatever the case. I'm not going to go into that. But what I want you to do is still DIY your marketing. And I am saying DIY, build your website. If this is your first website, I recommend you build it yourself. Now, I don't believe you should do it alone. Okay. So with that said, I will offer and I will have the link in the show notes, and it will be available to you where I provide two options to go ahead and start however you want to do it. However you want to do it. Okay. I got a class and I got a self-made one where you do it all by yourself. Now, this will be provided in the show notes. You can go to it, but I'm excited about it. And this is the first video too that people will watch because it's coming from the podcast, because I think it's important that folks know that in marketing, it takes more than one channel. It takes more than one time that you're going to reach them, right? It's going to take multiple touches. This is why we say in the funnel, there's awareness, there's interest, there's decision, there's action. Don't forget, you got to start at the very top and get attention. You got to nurture those things. And a website allows you to do all the above and continue to retain that client, that customer forevermore, how long you ever decide to keep it. So in this podcast, yet in this video, whenever you're watching this, however you're watching this, I want to encourage you to, if you haven't already, own your domain. That started in episode 79 or 71. I said, you want to own your domain. I want to say it's 71. I would have to look at my files, but I want you to own your domain by taking the time to say, I'm nathanwebster.com, which is already took, by the way. So I already tried and I couldn't get it. That's why the website is nwebsterllc.com. But I should buy it. Maybe. I don't know. The dudes. Yeah. Anyways, own your domain. And owning your domain is super important nowadays because websites are basically all we got left of making sure you own a space. But wait, let me back up because I almost spilled the beans and threw out my thunder before I had the moment to say it's a digital space. This digital space will allow you to go anywhere, www, World Wide Web, anywhere in the world, and conduct business how you like. Now, you got to follow the rules. You got to ensure that you stay on top of it. And you just don't create it and think people are going to flock to you. That's not how it goes down. And the reason why I'm encouraging you to do this yourself is because building a website is hard. But it's hard not because you drag and drop and you can use Wix, you can use Squarespace, you can use other easy DIY platforms out there. What's hard is your website is a walking business plan. And this walking business plan, if you haven't already started doing the work in your business, it gets really hard to figure out how your business will serve and continue to grow and evolve to serve your clientele as you hit the 1 year mark, the 2 year mark. What is 5 years looking like? And you may say, well, I have a plan, I have a vision. That's great. I'm not saying don't. But my question is to you is, are you only going to have one product? Are you not going to partner? Are you not going to look to expand? Are you looking to sunset it after maybe somebody buys it? Because are you looking to make this the main gig, or are you going to keep this the side gig? And this is why I'm telling you, as you see in my environment, for those that are watching on YouTube, or as you see on this highlight, I am changing things up in the environment. We all have to change, and every business has to change. That means how you show up online, your digital brand, your brand experience will have to change. 1 year, okay, 2 years, but 3 years, absolutely a change. The president force changes every 4 years. So when it comes to building your website, I'm going to go into, in the class, I'm going to go into breaking it down of all the things that you need for building your own website. And building your own website can be very simple, and it can be a one pager, or you can say, look, I want 10 pages. I'm going to tell you the hardest part of building a website is taking the time to create the content. And look, I get it. You get all these AI tools out there, but I'm going to tell you it's not the same as you spending the time and crafting the quality messages that you need to be found. Because the way search works is not about any more hacks. It's about whether or not you fit to the description of what the user is looking for. And if they are looking for it, here's where we say it's SEO, search engine optimization, or SEM, as in search engine marketing. Is it what they're looking for just to look at it, or are they going to buy? Sometimes we use websites as informational references. Not everyone plans to buy, because somebody may say, I like this type of car or this luxury item. I don't really want it. I just want to look at it. And that's cool because you can be found, but don't you want to be found from the people that you are going to make your community, aka your clientele, your customers, your students, your patients, your donors, whoever that may be? Spend the time to craft the message, because that will take the longest time. But once you got it, you good, okay? The other thing that takes the most time is getting the right digital assets, the pictures and the videos. And just so you know, you cannot, well, you can, but I don't recommend that you upload videos to your website. It will take so long to upload, which means you will probably need to get a I don't want to say a subscription on one, or or a membership on another one, because you're going to need to find another way to store it so you can just connect the hyperlink to it. So in the class, in the materials, I will go through line item by line item in the class and do it individually. And for years, so the last 10 years, I've been building websites. I have literally this template of a box that I check. And every single client goes off the itinerary. So I understand that you may not fit that model, that form, nor will you check every single box, and that's totally okay. But it's going to be provided so that you can use it, so that you will be able to say, now I may not be ready or have this now, but I can think this later down the road as I get further along in my company or in my product or in my service or in my promotion, because the goal of the class is having you own whatever you want to own in this digital space. And that means you can be found and you can live the life that you want to live, especially if you have a small business. Now, on the flip side, if you just are looking for another opportunity to have your place of education, your skills, certifications. Wait, I said certifications, right? your information, education, certification, and experience listed on another website other than a major social media platform. That's cool too. But I did mention in about 100 podcasts ago, LinkedIn is the new resume, but it doesn't hurt to have your own name be your own resume too, and you can format it to however you want it. The last thing that I'm going to mention why you want to be a part of this, okay? You can start to measure, and let me just give you a bonus content here, but let me finish saying this. You can begin to measure whether or not, if you give out your site, if people are going to it. Because the bonus content I want to give you is, if you're able to capture people's emails as they go to it, you can start building a list of followers. And instead of like people liking it, now you have emails to where people may want to receive information from you, rollouts, launches, workshops, seminars, events, you name it, you may get it, okay? You may provide that. You may service them. You may be able to help them, and you may get paid for that. So this is why I'm like, initially when I came out with this one, like episode 71, episode 70 something, okay? I was like, I mean, if you want to own your domain, you should have your name out there. But now, like 4 years later, I'm like, oh my God, if you don't own your domain, if you don't own your name on the World Wide Web, if you're not able to control the narrative that you want, then, there's going to be some issues. And I know that we don't like change as human beings. So this is your opportunity to get ahead of that change and create the lifestyle you want. So I'm really excited about this. This is why I made this a podcast. And for those that are watching this, not coming on the podcast, I'm doing it on my podcast because I have folks that have listened to me for years. And for those that have websites, I'm telling you, this time now is the time to leverage your site, because we live on cell phones, which means we also live on the web. And what's the new episodes coming out, which we've already talked about just a couple episodes ago, you heard the zero-click search era, right? They got the information from somewhere. You heard. Look, I'm not going to go into it because this is where I want this to be an introduction. And I'm not going to tell you how excited I am for this class because, man, look, we live now in a digital world. And if you are not part of this digital world, you're going to get left behind. And I don't want that. If you listen to my podcast, I want you to stay on the up and up, because it's all about making sure that you win because you're being authentically you. So with that, I wish you nothing but the best and dream big. God speed, and thank you for listening to the show. Hey, if you're hearing this message, you've listened to the entire episode, and for that, we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And we hope you enjoyed this new episode. And if you did, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Please share this episode with others that may be interested in this topic. And also, feel free to let us know what topics you'd like to see covered in future episodes. Get in touch in the comments or social media networks. See you next week for the next episode.